Driving, our grief is unique.
Hey.
But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim help.
What is happening, mediocre people of YouTube? So yeah, you guys been getting videos out of me, and that's fine. Little educational period from your favorite wrecker, Detroit wrecker. Oh man. Oh, I almost hit the recycle bin backing out. God damn it, you know. I did that one time before in another vehicle. Blew out the fucking the tail light. Fucked it up bad. It was terrible. Let's see. Get you guys situated, get myself situated. Okay, so in the last couple days we did some videos. Yesterday we talked a little about Predators on the review for Woodstock 99. Peace, love, rage, propaganda, and advertising. The documentary. So we did that, and we talked a little about Predators. So today, as promised, I want to talk a little more about Predators, and namely the Democratic Party. So as you guys know, I have no party affiliation when it comes to politics. Never have, never will. Because I'm not a one-trick pony. You know, that's just, in my opinion, that's just not how life works. You don't, and things change. You know what I mean? What you believe right now, you may not believe in the future. So to subscribe to, it's very difficult to subscribe to one party and then marry yourself to that party. And then, even worse, to defend that party even when you know they're dead wrong, which is a lot of what's going on today. So, you know, I said Democrat Party and Predators in the same sentence, and the Democrat Party really is. They are predators. They are a racist, evil organization, really. I mean, they're right up there with, you know, other organizations like Black Lives Matter, Adolf Hitler. The Democrat Party is, I mean, here's the thing: is they're propagandize people, and you know, it's almost like I wonder sometimes if they believe in that theory that, you know, if you tell a lie long enough, it becomes a truth. And I mean, I'm asking you, before you get pissed off and your little fingers start typing and or you start making videos, because there are people who make videos regarding my videos, and I think that's great. If nothing else than to keep the conversation going, and at least we're talking about it. Whether you disagree with me or agree with me, we need to keep talking about this stuff. That's the only way we're going to change it. So the Democrat Party is the only political party in the United States who singles out races of people as a means of getting elected and as a means of developing policy. We're all well aware of how the Democrat parties and liberals in general, let's just include the whole liberal thing, because I know there's people out there, well, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a liberal, right? Okay, so if you're a liberal, you know, we all know, you know, the liberals have been in charge of Hollywood for a long time, and the things they show us on TV, you know, the things that you normally wouldn't pay attention to, you know, there's messages behind this stuff. It's propaganda. You know, as I was talking yesterday, you know, I guess there was a thing where people were pissed off. I didn't even realize it, but Jake from State Farm, I guess there was kind of a thing because I guess maybe the first guy was a white guy and then I guess maybe he got fired or didn't renew his contract or whatever else. So the next guy, he's a black guy now, and they still call him Jake from State Farm. And I guess there's like a percentage of the population who's really pissed off that Jake from State Farm's black. Whatever. But what I see is, yeah, you know, Jake from State Farm is black because State Farm is trying to diversify and be racially correct in this liberal democratic ordeal. But if you really look at Jake from State Farm, he's the lightest black guy they could find, and he talks and acts like a white guy. Now, I don't know if he does in real life. He might just do this as his acting from Jake from State Farm. And it would be even more tragic if they probably did ask him to speak like a white person. And you see this on television more and more since the Biden administration has taken power. There's been a major increase of this racial stuff going on television, in commercials, you know, especially in commercials, which are things that people in general, they don't pay attention to them, but there is a part of their brain that is paying attention. But and like I said yesterday, you know, one of my best buddies, Howard, he's a black dude, and we discussed it, and he's just like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Man, motherfucker. He's so fucking pissed. It fucking cracks me up the way he talks about shit like this, but, you know, he sees it. He's like, you know, they're trying to turn black people into white people because that's what's acceptable to them. The Democratic Party is really telling you that, yes, we want to do things for black people who act like white people, talk like white people, live like white people. That is what's acceptable to the liberals and Democratic Party in this country. And if you know, look at your black friends, black people have their own unique culture. I mean, like I said about the whole rhythm thing, I mean, even black people, just the way they talk in general, they've got a rhythm of their own. I mean, that's why, like I said, black drummers and bass players especially, they can keep the rhythm fucking going, man. Not like white people. We got no fucking rhythm, you know, half the time. And it's unique, and they're proud of their culture. And the Democratic Party in this country is trying to strip them of that culture by pushing this narrative of, see, black and white people are the same. And we're not. Now, when it becomes an issue of equality, you know, yes, we should all have equal rights as far as the Constitution goes and the rights granted to you by God, you know. I don't think God, you know, our rights are not given to us by the United States government. Our rights are given to us by God under the Constitution. I don't think God said, oh yeah, just white people can have these rights, and other races can have some of them and not others, you know. That's just not how it works if it's God that gave us those rights. So now, this really gets hyped up back in the 1960s when the black people, you know, were not getting their rights and they were pissed off, you know, indeed, and fighting for their rights as a man in the United States. It was heated in the 1960s, and, you know, and it got resolved, and over not just the 1960s, but decades after that. And now we're to a point where, you know, black people are not, as far as their rights go, they have every right anybody had, just like white people have all the rights guaranteed to us under the Constitution given to us by God. So that issue is solved. But the Democrats, they need something to run on. And I've been watching this for decades now. The Democrats need something to run on. Excuse me. Should have brought up. Oh, I do have a bottle of water. Cool. So the Democrat platform has always been, well, we're going to give you equal rights. Okay? But then, as soon as they say that in the same sentence, we're going to give black people equal rights. We're going to give Latino people equal rights. We're going to fight for the rights of black people. We're going to fight for the rights of Latino people. So right then and there, well, now you're not fighting for equal rights. Because you never hear them say anything about, we're going to fight for the rights of everyone. It's always, especially nowadays. And the reason this continues on, and it didn't stop, after, people all over America and black people, started enjoying the rights they deserve, is because every 4 years and every 8 years you've got, a whole new echelon of voters that is, coming of age to vote, and they're not, they are ignorant when it comes to listening to political groups such as Democrats, Republicans, whoever it may be. So the Democrats' thing has always been, we're going to take care of you, and this race and that race and this race and this race, mainly 2 races right now, just black and Latino, they're getting fucked, and we're going to fight for them. And, especially when you're a young kid between the ages of 18 and 30, it's easy to say, oh, that's great, because you're in a world at that time where you're like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? And then along comes Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. They say, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you. Don't worry about it, man. We're going to take care of you. I was watching The Sopranos on the microwave last night. Joe, we got to go. Anyway. So it's easy to fall into that. And then what you find is the closer people get to the age of 30 and above, they realize they've been being duped for a long time. And they get pissed off about it, and then they go to the Republican Party, which they also know nothing about, because people are collective, people want to fit in with the group. I never had that issue. I never wanted. I never strive to fit in with any particular group. Even when I was in high school and all that shit that goes on during that time, I've never been like that. I've never, strived to fit into any particular group. But a lot of people do. So be it. So then they become Republicans, and then they find out, if they're smart, if they have an IQ above whatever, they find out one day that there's no honor among thieves. Now, I found this out at an early age because, as you know, I have no political affiliation. You can Google my name for political affiliation and it will come up, no known political affiliation. I never checked that box where it says, are you a Democrat or Republican or other? I never checked anything because I don't want to affiliate myself with any one group. I want options. We live in a country of freedom and options. No matter who you are, where you come from, we all have the same freedoms and options. Now, we may, have different struggles, but we all have the same freedom and options. So, when it really boils down to it, and going back to predators, the Democratic Party, if you really just stop before your little fingers start typing and calling me a dick, just sit quietly and look back upon the last, however many elections, and look and see how the Democrats have preyed on races. They prey on black people, they prey on Latino people, they prey on whatever race they think they can convince that they're going to take care of. That's who they prey on, and they get their votes. Now you have the Republican Party. They don't do that. Yet they're called the racist. The Republican Party never mentions anything about race, but they are called hardcore racists. Okay? So, I mean, look at that dichotomy, right? So, the Republican Party, they're predators too, and they'll generally prey on weakness. They'll prey on stupid people. They understand that there are people that are just dumb, and they can prey on those people and get their votes. Because in the end, the Conservative Party, if it was what it should be, is conservation. I mean, it's in the name. You would think that the Republican Party would be all for animal rights and putting people in prison for abusing animals and everything else, but it's just not that way. Even though conservation is part of their own name, they're just, instead the Democrats, they're always the ones for animal rights. So knowing that I am a dog person and I'm affiliated with a couple of different rescues, you can see right off the bat where I have problems with the Republican Party, and I have, I won't even talk to a Democrat at this point. But, I definitely, I lean conservative. I'm very skeptical and afraid of democracy in its true form. I think that democracy in its true form is extremely dangerous. And, just to go to the simple part of democracy is you take 100 people and 51 of those people decide for the other 49. That's leaving a very large portion of the population out. So I'm not a fan of true democracy. The United States really has, the best overall setup for a government, because it's all checks and balances. We are not a democracy, even though we are based on democracy. Our election system is based on democracy, but it's also balanced out. That's why, you hear a lot of Democrats, whenever they lose the Electoral College, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. We need to get rid of the Electoral College is there so that 51% do not decide for the other 49%. It is a check and balance system in our government that makes sure that our Constitution is... What is this? This guy, it looked like an ambulance, but it's not. It's just a fucking tow truck, but it's got everybody pulling over. He's got so many fucking lights on it. So, that is part of the reason the Electoral College is there, is to keep that in check. So, going back to what we were talking about, predators, most of the black people that I know, people that happen to be black, that I know, they're generally conservative, pretty much feel the same way as the general population. I really think the general population is conservative, but, with all the scare tactics that go on in elections, people end up voting Democratic. Especially, this whole COVID thing really, I'll tell every one of you guys right now, watch your ass in the coming years, because they have been studying, watching, and taking notes as to how quickly you guys just gave up your rights like they never existed with COVID over a virus that has a 98% recovery rate and has the survivability rate of Dawn detergent. You know, you watched if you saw what happened here in Michigan, you know, our governor tried to tell people you weren't even allowed to travel outside your home. You were not allowed to go anywhere. That's what our governor here in Michigan did. I mean, she literally, and there was people that were willing to, oh, okay, tell me what to do, you know. That's what they were willing to do. They were, okay, whatever they're told to do, that's what they're going to do. And, you know, we had a lot of people going up to the Capitol and letting her know, fuck that. But then we also, you know, people are fucking stupid, you know. So they go to the Capitol for a really good cause, and then they fuck it up by, you know, idiots in the fucking crowd doing stupid shit. Just like the same shit that happened at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., you know, after this last election. You know, they were there for a good cause, and, you know, a handful of fucking idiots fucked it up for everyone because the media is a propaganda machine. They only focus on, you know, what the bad part of things. Now, when I was watching that on television that day, my daughter was with me, and I said, well, I don't understand what's going on, because I just see a whole bunch of people walking around, you know, looking like they were leaving and stuff. And then as we found out later, it was about a dozen people that were a bunch of jackasses. And, you know, the other hundreds of thousands of people that were there they were peaceful. But the media didn't tell you that. They still haven't. So, you know, in conclusion, you know, it's really important that you are aware that there are predators in this world. There is evil in this world. There are predators that prey on you in different ways. Just like I talked in the better part of this video about how even our our leaders prey on people. There's evil in this world. There's predators in this world. So, you know, when you watch the evening news tonight, whatever your flavor may be, I want you guys to keep that in mind. In listening to what's being reported, I know a lot of you guys just like the politics part, you know, and a lot of it's politics. But pay attention. That's what I'm inviting you guys to do tonight when you watch your evening news or whatever it is that you entertain yourself with. Really pay attention to what's going on, whether it's even in the commercials. You know, watch the commercials and just take a deep breath and take it for what it is, and just watch what's going on. Now, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, okay, but I'm glad there are those people out there. I just don't have time. I would assume it'd be really entertaining to go down some of those conspiracy theory rat holes, but I just don't have the time. And I'm not a big conspiracy theorist in general, but I'm really glad those people are out there. You know, what it boils down to as far as politics go for me, you know, just like anyone else, I want to pay the least amount of tax possible, and I want to be left the fuck alone. And I think that's what most people want. You know, be careful what you jump on board for. Like when President Trump was elected and they were hounding him over his taxes and how much he paid in taxes. You know, at least he was honest and said, listen, I did what everybody else did. I used every law I could to pay the least amount of tax possible. Just like you do, whether you own your own business or whether you work for somebody else, you go every year and you file your taxes and you use every deduction you can. You know, somebody like President Trump, former President Trump, you know, it's just on a larger scale. And you got to understand, you got to put yourself in someone else's position and think about, you know, if you had millions and millions of dollars, you know, and the tax you pay, you're like, God damn, you know, I mean, fuck, I'm paying millions of dollars in taxes. You know, most people are only paying a couple $1,000s. I mean, that's the way you got to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You got to put yourself in someone else's position and think about how you would, be in that position, and maybe not knock it as fast as you would, the media would have you do, or your favorite politician would have you do. Maybe just think for yourself. And that's what I've tried to do regarding politics and life, is just think about it for myself. If it's something that needs to be researched, I do my own research. If it's an opinion that I'm trying to form and I'm ignorant of that topic, I do my own research. I don't listen to what everybody else has to say about the matter. I form my own opinion and I go from there. So there you go. There's today's driving video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.